Hi everyone, I appreciate you watching this online presentation. My name is Evan Gurney. I'm an MD, MPH candidate for the class of 2022, working with the Campus Health Center for my Master of Public Health internship. This presentation is about sleep and why you should make your New Year's resolution getting enough sleep and the steps to accomplish that goal. So what are we going to cover today? Well, first we'll start by talking about what sleep is, the sleep stages, naps, and dreaming. Then we'll move along to how much sleep you need, and then talk about what happens when you don't get enough sleep. What are the signs, symptoms, and health effects of sleep deprivation? Next, we'll discuss the most common sleep disorders. Then we'll focus on sleep hygiene, what it is, and how to improve your sleep. And finally, we'll wrap up with what you should do if you still can't sleep. So our introduction to sleep. Scientists still aren't sure of the exact reason why people need to sleep, but we do know that getting enough sleep is as essential for our survival as food or water. Sleep is very complex and it impacts all parts of our brain and body. We spend about 1/3 of our day sleeping, meaning we spend about 1/3 of our life sleeping. Many chemicals and hormones in the body regulate our sleep and wakefulness, and the brain and body remain pretty active during sleep. Sleep allows our brain and body to perform housekeeping, like removing the toxins that built up during the day, and healing. I also want to point out that there's numbers in the top right-hand corner of my slides, and these correspond with the sources that I've provided at the end of the PowerPoint. So if there's anything that you want more information on, you can use the link I provided with each source to do some further research on your own. So some more facts about sleep. There's certain brain chemicals that promote sleep, and these become active when we get ready for bed. These include GABA, norepinephrine, serotonin, and adenosine. And within a few minutes of falling asleep, there are changes in the body and the brain. These include lower body temperature, decreased brain activity, and slowing of heart rate and breathing. Over the night, we go through multiple sleep cycles that last 70 to 120 minutes, and each cycle has 4 main stages. So let's dive right into the sleep cycle. Sleep cycle and stages vary by person, and factors like age, sleep schedule, alcohol consumption. So the sleep cycle is divided into 2 main categories, non-REM and REM sleep. Non-REM sleep consists of stages 1 through 4. Stage 1 is the dozing off stage. It usually lasts 1 to 5 minutes. Brain activity begins to slow down, but someone's still relatively easy to wake up in this stage. Stage 2 is where someone is falling more asleep. There's a drop in body temperature, muscles are relaxed, and breathing and heart rate slow. There are short bursts of brain activity, and these help prevent you from being woken up. So this stage lasts about 10 to 25 minutes, and it becomes longer throughout the night. We spend about half of our time sleeping in stage 2. Stage 3 and stage 4 are grouped together and consist of deep sleep. It's also called slow wave sleep. At this time, the body is very relaxed. It's also called restorative sleep because this is the stage where our body recovers and heals. We spend about 20 to 40 minutes in this stage, and we spend shorter amounts of time in stage 3 and 4 as night goes on when we're spending more time in REM sleep instead. Now I'll talk about REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement because our eyes rapidly move during this stage. This stage also consists of atonia, meaning that the body is paralyzed except for the breathing muscles and the eyes. The brain is also very active during this stage, and dreams mostly occur during this time, and that's why we are paralyzed to prevent us from acting out these dreams. So REM doesn't happen until we've been asleep for about 90 minutes, and overall we spend about 25% of our sleep in the REM stage. And REM sleep is very essential for learning and memory. And so now let's look at the sleep chart here. You can see someone starts dozing off, they fall into sleep, and at the beginning of the night, they're spending a lot of time in stage 3 and 4, and really not at all in the last part of the night. But up here, they're spending a lot of time in REM with some times where, look, they woke up, went right back to sleep. So now the circadian rhythm. This is our body's internal 24-hour clock. It helps control our sleep-wake cycle. It's based on light and dark or day and night. So light makes the brain release chemicals that stimulate alertness, and darkness causes chemicals like melatonin to be released that prepares us for sleep. If our circadian rhythm is thrown off, the body doesn't function as well. The circadian rhythm also influences metabolism and weight through the regulation of blood sugar and cholesterol. It also can affect mental health and the immune system. Melatonin is the hormone our brain, specifically the pineal gland, produces in response to darkness. It promotes our transition from wake to sleep. And a lot of people take a melatonin supplement, so I thought that I'd talk briefly on what it is and if it's actually helpful. It's usually synthetic, meaning it's made in a lab, and research shows that melatonin can be very beneficial for things like jet lag and delayed sleep-wake phase disorder, but there's not strong evidence that it helps with chronic insomnia. Melatonin may interact with other medications and supplements. Generally, though, it is safe to use in the short term for most people. There are side effects that include headache, dizziness, nausea, and sleepiness, and the potential long-term side effects aren't clear. So overall, taking melatonin consistently hasn't been shown to be helpful, and there are better ways to improve your sleep that we'll talk about later. So napping. About 1/3 of adults in the US nap. Naps are classified based on their purpose. For example, recovery naps are when you're catching up for not getting enough sleep the night before. Appetitive naps are for enjoyment and relaxation. And essential naps are when you're sick and your body needs more sleep than normal. The ideal nap is actually the power nap, about 10 to 20 minutes of sleep, because this provides you with the recovery benefits without leaving you sleepy afterwards. To take the best nap, you should set an alarm, nap earlier in the day, create a sleep-friendly environment, and relax. Try not to worry, practice relaxation techniques, but remember that napping can interfere with your ability to fall asleep at night, so be careful with your naps and use these tips. So dreaming. Dreams are sequences of sensations, emotions, ideas, and images that occur during certain stages of sleep. The most vivid dreams occur during REM sleep. And with the exception of lucid dreaming, you can't control your dreams or choose what you dream about. Dreams can last anywhere from a few seconds to 20 to 30 minutes. Most people have an average of 3 to 5 dreams per night. People remember their dreams when they wake up right after or during REM before falling asleep again. And remember, in that sleep chart, there were times of waking during REM. That's when someone's most likely to remember their dreams. While the true purpose of dreams is still unknown, there are many theories. For example, maybe dreams help with memory formation, problem solving, and processing of emotions. Maybe they help our brain with housekeeping, or maybe they're just random brain activity. Why is getting enough sleep important? Sleep is important for our physical, mental, and emotional health, as well as our quality of life. Quality sleep improves our ability to learn, remember, and pay attention. While we're sleeping, our brain is preparing for the next day. It's forming new pathways to help us learn and remember information. Getting enough good quality sleep improves our academic performance. I know I definitely have a harder time with my Zoom classes if I didn't get enough sleep the night before. And so without enough sleep, we have slower reaction times, difficulty problem solving, and we make more mistakes. So most adults need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep a night, and 35% of adults don't get the recommended amount of sleep. How much sleep exactly you need, it varies by person. Some people need closer to 9 hours a night and don't do well with 7, while others may thrive with just 7 and don't feel as great if they got more than that. So you should try to figure out how many hours you need to feel and function the best and plan accordingly. So, are you getting enough sleep? My guess is that you're not, because sleep deprivation is unfortunately very common in college. Only 11% of college students report that they sleep well consistently, and 40% feel well rested no more than 2 days a week. Finally, college students who pull all-nighters are more likely to have a lower GPA. So now we're going to talk about sleep deprivation. Some signs and symptoms of sleep deprivation are not feeling alert or refreshed when you wake up, feeling tired during the day, falling asleep while reading or watching TV, not being able to concentrate, slowed thinking, memory problems, mood changes. A study showed that after 2 weeks of sleeping 6 hours or less a night, students feel as bad and perform as poorly as someone who has gone without sleep for 48 hours or 2 straight days. So, not sleeping enough can really add up and take its toll. So, some of the health effects of sleep deprivation include increased risk of accidents or injuries, especially car accidents, heart disease, high blood pressure, difficulty maintaining a healthy weight. Someone who isn't getting enough sleep is going to feel hungrier than someone who is, diabetes, a worsened immune system function. So, your body has more difficulty fighting off infections when you're not getting enough sleep. It's also associated with mental health disorders like an increased risk of depression and suicide. So now we're going to discuss the most common sleep disorders, which are insomnia, narcolepsy, restless leg syndrome, and sleep apnea. This is important because students with symptoms of a sleep disorder are more likely to receive poor grades than their peers without symptoms of sleep disorders. So first, insomnia. Insomnia is trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. It can be lying awake for a long time before falling asleep, only sleeping for short amounts of time before waking up, or waking up really early in the morning and being unable to fall back asleep. Studies show that 30% of adults suffer from insomnia, while 10% experience severe enough symptoms that it impacts their daily functioning. I would bet that most of us have experienced short-term insomnia at some point in our lives because this can occur from stress or changes in your schedule. But chronic or long-term insomnia lasts for more than 3 months, and 9.5% of college students meet this criteria. Insomnia is diagnosed by your doctor, and they usually have you complete a sleep diary, which we'll talk about later. They do this in order to see if there are other factors contributing to your inability to sleep. They will also want to rule out another cause like medication or a health problem. And treatment is a combination of sleep hygiene, which again we'll talk about later, therapy, and medication. So, narcolepsy is a lifelong neurological disorder where the brain can't regulate its sleep wake cycles. Symptoms include excessive daytime sleepiness, no matter how much sleep the person got the night before, and this presents as sleep attacks. This is a sudden and irresistible urge to fall asleep regardless of what's happening around the person, and this can happen without warning. Cataplexy is weakness from sudden loss of muscle tone, and it's triggered by strong emotions. These may be mild and involve only a momentary sense of minor weakness in just a few muscles, like a slight drooping of the eyelids, but it can range to the most severe attacks, which result in a total body collapse, during which the individuals are unable to move, speak, or keep their eyes open. Another symptom is sleep paralysis, which occurs when falling asleep or waking up, being temporarily unable to move or speak. It can also be associated with hallucinations. Narcolepsy is also associated with disturbed sleep and insomnia. It is diagnosed by a sleep study, and treatment involves lifestyle changes and medication. It's not curable, but it's manageable. So, restless leg syndrome. This is an uncomfortable or unpleasant feeling in the legs that result in an irresistible urge to move your legs. It can be described as an aching, throbbing, pulling, itching, crawling, or creeping feeling. It can occur in the afternoon or evening, but it's most common at night when a person is resting or laying down. People are symptom-free in the morning, making it easier to sleep at that time. Restless leg syndrome makes it difficult to fall asleep or stay asleep. Treatment involves ruling out a medical cause, lifestyle changes, and medication. The last sleep disorder we're going to talk about is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is when there's abnormal breathing during sleep. There are pauses in breathing that lead to poor quality sleep and decreased oxygen. The most common type is obstructive sleep apnea, meaning that there's something blocking the airway and not allowing oxygen to get into the lungs. In children, it's most commonly the tonsils that cause it, but it can be caused by a large neck, a large tongue, or a large uvula. 2 to 9% of people have sleep apnea, but that number is believed to be too small because many people are not diagnosed. Symptoms include snoring, gasping for air, or snorting during sleep, excessive daytime sleepiness, headaches when you wake up in the morning, and irritability. Other risk factors include obesity and smoking. Sleep apnea can lead to a lot of health problems because your body is constantly deprived of oxygen during the night, which can lead to a lot of strain on your organs. It's diagnosed with a sleep study, and treatment depends on the cause of the obstruction. Sometimes weight loss can help, special mouthpieces that are worn at night, or a CPAP machine. And this is where you have the little mask that's hooked to a machine, and what it does is it just forces air into your airway at night to make sure that you're getting enough oxygen. All right, so sleep hygiene. Sleep hygiene is basically just good sleep habits. It's one of the easiest ways to set yourself up for better sleep. It involves creating a bedroom environment and daily routines that promote consistent, uninterrupted sleep. Sleep hygiene also consists of different tips that can be tailored to you and adjusted as you discover what works and what improves your sleep. You can create your own sleep hygiene checklist. I would really encourage you to do that with the tips that we're going to talk about. So now the tips for improving your sleep. First, set a sleep schedule. Prioritize your sleep and schedule enough time for you to get enough sleep. Don't make large adjustments at one time though. Try to stick to 1 to 2 hour changes. Try to get up at the same time during the weekend as during the week, because if you sleep in too much on the weekend, it can be more difficult for you to get up during the week. And don't overdo it with naps. Short naps in the early afternoon are less likely to throw off your sleep schedule. And then if you're someone who normally tries to pull an all-nighter to study or complete a big paper, try to at least get some sleep. You'll retain the information better after getting some sleep, because remember how important sleep is for memory and those new paths forming. So at least try to get a good nap in. So the takeaway for this is to give yourself enough time to sleep and be consistent, which you'll notice is a theme throughout these tips. So next, create a nightly routine. Again, be consistent. Follow the same steps every night. Give yourself about 30 minutes to wind down. Do a quiet activity like reading, listening to soft music, relaxation exercises, or meditation. Try to stay away from bright lights and electronics before bed because they're going to reduce your melatonin production and make it more difficult for you to fall asleep. If you haven't fallen asleep in 20 minutes of lying in your bed, get up, get out of bed, do a quiet, relaxing activity, and then try again. You want to make sure that your body knows that your bed is for sleep. So try not to do anything in your bed besides sleep and sex, and get up if you can't fall asleep. Now make healthy daily habits. This includes getting sunlight exposure during the day. This helps keep your circadian rhythm regulated. Get physical activity as it helps you sleep, but don't exercise too late, preferably 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, or you may have difficulty falling asleep. Don't smoke because nicotine disrupts your sleep. Your body goes into nicotine withdrawal during the night and will wake you up. Reduce your alcohol intake, especially before bed, because it makes your sleep fragmented and causes you to wake up early. It may help you fall asleep, but you won't be getting quality sleep. And avoid caffeine later in the day. It's a stimulant and blocks sleep-producing chemicals in the brain. Caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours, meaning that about half of it is gone from the body in 6 hours. So it does stick around for a long time, and that's why it can mess with your sleep. And finally, don't eat dinner or a large meal before bed because digestion will prevent you from falling asleep. If you're hungry before bed, choose a light snack instead. Um, yeah, and optimize your bedroom. Choose a comfortable bedroom temperature. Usually, cooler temperatures like 65 degrees are better for sleep. Keep your bedroom dark. Use blackout curtains or an eye mask to eliminate light. And try to reduce bothersome noise. You can use earplugs or white noise. There are lots of apps that are free. I have a rain app that I use sometimes, or a fan. And then calming scents can also help with sleep, like lavender is calming. So something else that can really help with your sleep is mindfulness meditation, as studies have shown that even a small amount can improve your sleep. Types that are especially helpful include mindful breathing exercises and body scan. There are a lot of free apps that are listed here where you can try some mindfulness meditation. And the Campus Health Center has a great health program called Mindfulness Techniques where you can learn a lot more, and I encourage you to check it out. So, what to do if you still can't sleep? If you've tried improving your sleep with sleep hygiene techniques and are still struggling with sleep to where it's impacting your daily functioning, you may need to talk to your doctor. But first, create a sleep diary. I have an example on the next slide, and you can Google different templates. You can also just create one in a notebook. But be sure to include when you go to bed, when you actually go to sleep, when you wake up, get out of bed, take naps, exercise, drink alcohol, drink caffeinated beverages, take medications, or supplements. You may notice patterns that you haven't before that are either detrimental or helpful to your sleep. For example, you may notice that nights you couldn't sleep were days that you had an extra cup of coffee, or maybe the days that you exercised, you slept really well. You can use this information that you get from your sleep diary to adjust your sleep hygiene. And your sleep diary provides your doctor with important information that can help determine the next steps. It's possible that your sleep problem could be related to a medication, a supplement, or a health condition. But if they're not, the first thing that your doctor will do is tell you to practice good sleep hygiene. So if you have your sleep habits documented already, you and your doctor can work through what's most likely to help and what the next steps will be. Like maybe you need to see a sleep specialist or you need to get a sleep study done. So here is a 2-week sleep diary from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. This is just a screenshot, so it's not all of it, obviously. But you can see they have you put in like the day of the week, what kind of day it was. You shade in times that you were asleep, either napping or at night. So this person took a nap from 7 to 8. This person went to bed at midnight, woke up during the night, and then they have exercise, alcohol, and caffeine and medication listed as well. I want to finish this presentation by talking about mental health and sleep. So several mental health disorders can cause sleep issues and symptoms that look like sleep deprivation. Anxiety can cause someone to be easily fatigued and have trouble concentrating. It can also cause someone to have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, be restless, or not feel well rested during the day. Depression can cause low energy, fatigue, and problems with concentration and memory. It can also cause someone to have difficulty falling asleep, someone to wake up really early in the morning, or sleep too much. So if your sleep problems are stemming from a mental health disorder like depression or anxiety, improving your sleep hygiene, it's not going to hurt. It may benefit you, but you really need to address the underlying issue. And so here's the information for the Wayne State University Counseling and Psychological Services, or CAPS. It's free and confidential for students. So if you think that your sleep problems are stemming from a mental health disorder, please reach out. and set up an appointment with them. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Here is the contact information for the Campus Health Center. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions and follow us on social media. We post a lot of really great health information on there and talk about our other health programs. And then finally, here are my references, which include the numbers that correspond to the slides. And then down here is a link to the sleep diary. Again, thank you so much for listening to this presentation.